Good morning and welcome to the Peorian. I'm your host, Paul Gordon. From Sing It Yourself Messiahs to kid shows at local community theaters to another Journal Star Christmas Sing headed by Peoria's top ambassador, the Christmas season brings area residents many opportunities to enjoy and even participate in the sounds of the season. And who doesn't enjoy Christmas music and carols this time of year? Well, by now several groups have already performed their shows, such as the Peoria Pops Orchestra, which performed a lively show with the Caterpillar Chorus just a few days ago. Still coming is A Christmas Carol, the musical, opening Friday night at Peoria Players Theater. Yes, apparently Scrooge sings. Who would have thunk it? Well, then there is one more Christmas show that doesn't always come to mind or get a lot of publicity, even though it is actually one of the top shows in the area. The Grace Family Christmas, presented each holiday season by Grace Presbyterian Church on Illinois Route 91, also opens Friday night for a run of 3 performances. Well, not to mention recorded shows that will be presented at Christmas on a local television station. 2 officials from Grace Presbyterian Church will be my guests today to talk about the Grace Family Christmas and what goes into this show that is gaining popularity throughout the region. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Peorian. My guests today are Kerry Frantz, the assistant pastor of Grace Presbyterian Church, and Rhonda Anderson, the music director of the church. And we're talking about the Grace Family Christmas Show, which opens on Friday at Grace Presbyterian Church. Welcome to our show, and thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
Your website refers to the Grace Family Christmas as, quote, a joyous musical celebration of the birth of Christ our Savior, end of quote. That almost sounds like it's people sitting around singing Christmas carols, but this is much, much more than that, isn't it?
Absolutely. The concert will consist of full choir, orchestra, soloists, fabulous musicians, all sharing what the true meaning of Christmas is through song.
And it tells the story?
Yes,
okay.
It will tell the story.
And throw in some bagpipes too, right?
And we're going to throw in some bagpipes in there too. Celtic Cross will be our special guest.
So this is more of a theatrical production?
I wouldn't say theatrical, but musically there's so much more going on than just a choir standing up there singing. We have children in costume, and they'll be doing some choreography and singing some songs that tell the story of Christ being born, but just in a joyous celebration of his birth.
You said there will be costumes?
Yes.
Okay.
The children will be in costume. The choir will be all decked out. The men will be in tuxedos, and the women are in sparkly sequin tops. And we have a professional lighting company come and do our lighting for us. And we have just a great production of the concert that involves the music and lighting, and there's just so much involved. It's more than your typical church concert.
Is there any spoken dialogue or narration?
There will be some narration. Actually, that's pre-recorded, and then our assistant pastor here, Pastor Kerry, will be sharing a message as well.
More of a devotion. Then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not necessarily a written script?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We will tell the story of the birth of Christ through song.
Okay.
And there will be some dialogue, but it's mostly told through music.
Will there be soloists?
Yes, fabulous soloists. We have soloists. We are blessed at Grace to have musicians that love to tell the story of Christmas, but yet they are great musicians, and they've been singing in Grace Family Christmas for years and years. In fact, when people come to our concerts, hear them sing, many times we hear after the concert, you didn't hire these people? No, they go to our church. There's nobody hired, no soloists that are hired. Our orchestra, some of them are hired, but our soloists are in our church, and we're blessed.
And your performers are your members?
Yes,
Correct.
Absolutely.
Including the children and...
Yes. Now, some of our choir members are not necessarily members of the church.
They
but
come from the community.
They come
just
from the
want
community.
to sing for that event.
Yes.
Oh. And Rhonda has the unique distinction of being at all 20 of the concerts that we've ever done. So she's played a couple of different roles.
Yes.
usually at the piano, but also singer, but first time as the director. Huh?
Actually, second time.
Second time.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
I directed in 2003.
Why the gap?
Our first music minister left and went to University of Alabama, to University of Mobile, and he was the one that actually started it, Al Miller,
Okay.
and just started a wonderful tradition at Grace. And so when he left, he was there for 10 years, he left, I took it over until our next music minister came, and then he's directed for the last 9 years, and now he has taken a new position. So I'm not actually the official director of music, I'm the interim director of music.
And doing a great job at it,
But
nonetheless.
But doing Grace Family Christmas is a part of it.
Okay.
Happily.
How many weeks have you been rehearsing?
We started the first weekend in September.
Okay.
So the choir has worked very hard.
3 months
They sing it
solid.
all from memory, and great musicians in our choir, fabulous, love to sing, and they've worked very hard and are very excited about presenting our concert.
Are the songs that are presented the most well-known only, or are these?
There's a combination of music. We have some traditional songs. There's a beautiful arrangement of O Holy Night, and we have one special soloist, Lori Smith, who has sung it before, and people ask for her to sing that every year. So she will be singing it again. She hits a high note at the end that will thrill your soul. Jairo Arvizu and Rachel West Kramer, they are musicians in our community that many people have already heard, and they will be singing some beautiful songs. People will love hearing them. Rachel will be singing Angels We Have Heard on High, and they sing a duet that will send you through the roof,
I know,
10,000
always does,
Joys.
yes.
So there are some favorites on our concert that people have heard through the years, and then we have some new songs that people will love hearing as well. Lots of great music, a wonderful celebration
Worth
of the
seeing.
birth of Christ.
Certainly we're seeing.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about more about the upcoming performances of Grace Family Christmas, including how and where to get tickets. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the Peorian. I'm with Kerry, Frantz, and Rhonda Anderson of Grace Presbyterian Church, and we're talking about Grace Family Christmas, the musical celebration of the birth of Christ, which is performed at the church every Christmas. You said this is the 20th?
20th year that we've been doing it straight, since 1993.
How long has the church been out on Illinois Route 91?
2 years.
Okay.
So this is our third Grace Family Christmas in that location, which is beautiful in the sense of the aesthetics of the sanctuary. It really was built for sound. So there's a certain part of all the preparation of all the singers and musicians together and everything prepared, but there's also the shell of the sanctuary that just is an electrifying musical hall. I'd probably say the best concert hall that we have in Peoria. So to have that complement the music is just a dynamic experience for everybody.
Isn't the church used for other concerts as well?
That's correct.
Peoria Symphony Orchestra
Yeah.
has played there, and the Peoria Area Civic Chorale. And that's our intent, is to share it with the community. It is a great hall.
For the Grace Family Christmas, there are 3 performances, correct?
That's correct.
And the times on those, Friday at
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
And then a 4 and 4 on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Are there still tickets available for all 3 performances?
Yes, but they are going quickly.
Okay.
So you should call the church and pick up your tickets.
Can you reserve them and then
Yes.
pick them up the night or the day of?
Yes.
Okay.
You may reserve them, or you can come by the church as well and pick them
Okay.
up there. We have a full-time ticket person that
And
is
the ticket
filling the
office is
orders.
open all week, 9 to 5?
8:30 to 5.
8:30 to 5. And tickets are $12.50 each?
Yes.
Correct.
Is
Yes.
that across the board?
Yes.
Yes, all
Yes.
seats are $12.50.
All the seats are great. Good seats.
How many does it seat, approximately? I'm assuming,
Well, we know for all 3 concerts, 4,000 total participants there can be there as far as people seeing the concert. So that's what
I think it's
about-
1,400 a night. Is it? Do we
Yeah.
seat about 1,400? Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a great
Does that
Concert
make
hall.
it the second largest theatrical, or what? I know it's not a theater, but is there anything larger in Peoria besides the Civic Center Theater?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I know parking is free, so that's a nice bit there too as well.
We have a balcony which is a wonderful addition as well.
How long is
So-
the show itself?
It's about 2 hours.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an intermission?
There is an intermission, yes.
Just 15 minutes.
At what point in the
About halfway
story?
through. About halfway through.
In the story of Christ's birth.
Well, actually, we're telling the story of Christ's birth more during the first half, and then the second half is
Okay.
really the celebration and the rejoicing at his birth. But we have the children's choir that's going to sing. We have a teen choir, 7th through 12th graders that will sing, and I think that is a wonderful thing for people to see too. To see all these teenagers up there singing. There's 75 teenagers singing, and I think that's kind of a special thing for people to see and at the concert, that wow, there's teenagers that enjoy being a part of this as well.
Has the show always been that involved?
Yes, we've always had children and the teenagers singing, and then the adults that make up the Grace Family Christmas Choir.
Okay. For those who cannot make it for a live performance, it's being recorded, am I correct?
That's correct.
And it will be shown twice,
Correct.
10:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve,
Yes,
and at noon on Christmas Day
Yes.
on WEEK TV.
correct.
Is this the first year that's been done?
They've been doing that for 20 years too, I think.
Oh, really?
And it's
Always-
edited very well too, so to be able to compress that into a manageable time, it's done extremely well, and we put lots of hours from a production standpoint to make that a great event for the community to see
Okay.
by way of the air.
Now, Rhonda, you said you've been involved with all 20, so
Yes.
you started out in the little kids choir.
Yes.
Yes, that's the way that goes. No, I started out as the accompanist, playing the piano 20 years ago.
Okay.
So,
The
and
real
I
true-
direct the youth choir.
The youth
too,
choir. She may have been doing that for 20 years too, pretty
It's been
close.
over 20 years.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the importance of music in ministry, especially at Grace Presbyterian Church. But first, here is our own Kevin Kaiser with a segment on literature as only Kevin can view it. Please stay tuned.
With election season thankfully behind us, what has become evident is that the real winner this year was Nate Silver. For those who haven't heard of Mr. Silver, he's a statistician who established the website 538.com, where he published analyses and predictions related to the 2008 presidential election. In the end, he correctly predicted the winner in 49 of the 50 states. In 2012, Silver correctly predicted the winner in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Just before the election, his first book was published entitled The Signal and the Noise, Why Most Predictions Fail But Some Don't, and that's the subject of this week's Kevin Reads Stuff So You Don't Have To. Now, this book is a fascinating read if you're a stat junkie like me. The first half of the book is about discovering a better understanding of how humans distort and interpret the signals we receive, including where they serve us well and where they fail. The second half focuses on making better predictions by differentiating between the signal and the noise. And he points out the important thing isn't finding patterns in data. After all, that's what we do as humans. What's critical for anyone making predictions, from economics and weather to sports and politics, is deciphering whether those patterns represent the signal or the noise. Now, one of the biggest problems is extrapolation, or the assumption that the current trend will continue indefinitely. Silver uses a real-world example of GPS navigation systems in large cities. If there are two routes commonly used to get to one destination, say the West Side Highway and FDR Drive through Manhattan, most GPS systems will predict which route will have the least amount of traffic based on past patterns. With many drivers using the same navigation system, this has been shown to actually create traffic, as the selected route is flooded with drivers following the same information. Okay, I know this stuff is a bit dry, so here's a bad statistician joke from the book. It was discovered that a statistician drowned after trying to cross a river that was shallow near the banks but deep in the middle. Why did he try to cross it? Because he said it was only 3 feet deep on average. Now, when it comes to the stock market, for decades you would have been better off looking at the Super Bowl as an indicator for financial success. Yes, from the first Super Bowl in 1967 to Super Bowl 31 in 1997, the stock market gained an average of 14% if the winner that year was from the original NFL, and dropped an average of 10% when the winner was from the original AFL. In fact, the Super Bowl correctly predicted the direction of the stock market 28 out of 31 years, much better than the so-called experts. So there you have it, another episode of Kevin Reads Stuff So You Don't Have To, and the book is The Signal and the Noise, Why Most Predictions Fail But Some Don't by Nate Silver. As always, you're welcome.
Welcome back to the Peorian. My guests today are Kerry, Frantz, and Rhonda Anderson of Grace Presbyterian Church, and we're talking about the Grace Family Christmas. And music, of course, is a very important as well as inspirational part of life. How is it used as part of the ministry at your church?
Well, music obviously is a way that we can worship the Lord without necessarily speaking words or hearing. That's our way of being able to worship Him and to offer back to Him our praise. And that's our heart at Grace, to be able to use that music to worship the Lord and to lift Him up.
Would you? Go ahead.
Well, just maybe a little philosophical too, is that the Christian message is declarative. I mean, God has spoken to us through His Word. He's spoken in time through God in flesh appearing through His Son. So what an incredible venue than the Christmas message to be able to declare. So even the spoken word, let alone all of the beautiful aspects of that and the splendor of being able to share that in terms of a Christmas message and song. I saw a sign just outside of here, and it talked about the splendor of Christmas past, historic homes. So my hunch is if you go to some of these historic homes in Peoria, it gives you a feeling of what Christmas was like in the past. My hunch is those homes don't speak. God has spoken, and it's an incredible message. That's really what the whole theme of joy is, that God has come and appeared to us, and that gives us great reason to celebrate and be joyful.
Sitting in a service, hearing the message is one thing. Hearing it sung is another. Describe to me a little bit what it's like for audience members for the Grace Family Christmas. Is it overwhelming when you're hearing the songs, hearing the message delivered in that way, rather than reading it or whatever? Is it different?
Yeah, I'll share my own personal feeling. I've been to 6 Grace Family Christmases coming up, and I have 3 children that are participating in the youth and high school choir too as well. They'll be part of it coming up this weekend. But whenever you're there for Grace Family Christmas, it's always bigger than you ever could imagine it to be. And as a pastor, we clear our entire schedule for Grace Family Christmas. There's no other events taking place at night or throughout the week, and so it's a top A event that we have. And I like to see sometimes more things happening in the church during that time. So when it does happen, you're thinking, oh, now I know why we've cleared the calendar, because it really is that incredible of a presentation, a blessing in the community, that when you're there and those first lights go up and when the closing song, you just feel like you've been a part of a 2-hour incredible experience. It's really a great blessing. I think for some people in the community, that's how they launch into their Christmas season. They typically don't work with the advertisers, they work with some of the events in the community, and for some, that's the launching point for them to really get into the Christmas spirit.
Is there a reason you don't schedule it closer to the actual Christmas day?
Well, it does take a lot of time and energy, and it's a wonderful way to give back to the community, but we're all exhausted when it's over with.
Kids are in school and
Yes.
Everything's going on.
And we still have shopping to do and
Yeah.
lots of preparations. I know I kind of set everything aside until Grace Family Christmas is over with, and then I can finally really prepare for.
Oh, so that's
All
why
of that's coming
you
up.
do it early in December so you can get your Christmas
Yeah.
shopping.
Yeah, there we go.
No, actually, we it's always been about that time. We think it's a wonderful. We put it there because we do think it's a wonderful way to begin your Christmas season, and we've had people tell us that over and over again. This is the way I start my Christmas season. I go to Grace Family Christmas.
Now, Grace Presbyterian has several choirs, and it starts with the children's choir. How young do you start them, and why is it important to start children in choirs that early?
Well, we really believe that the beauty of children praising the Lord is so important. And our youngest choir members are 4 years old, and that choir consists of 4 years through second grade, I believe. And then we have And she has, Lori Smith has, I don't know, probably 40, 50 kids in that choir. And then we have a junior choir that is 3rd through 6th grade. And then I have the teen choir that's 7th through 12th grade.
And does it help to instill faith in these children?
Absolutely. To be able to learn to praise and worship the Lord through music and giving their gifts and using their gifts is a wonderful way.
We have 3 children that we adopted from Zambia last year, and music is probably the only one area that they can come in and be at the same level, and as far as an experience with any of the other American kids. And so for them, it's a great avenue for them to be able to worship together in a setting that is phenomenal for them and friendships.
Thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. We were glad to be here.
Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Grace Family Christmas at the Grace Presbyterian Church, and that you will attend one of the 3 performances next week. Or if you can't, remember it will be shown on WEEK TV on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. Remember, you can watch this program as well as previous episodes of The Peorian on our website, thepeorian.com. And we'll be back next Sunday with a new episode at 8 a.m. on WHOY TV. Have a good week.
Música